United States Supreme Court is hearing arguments on President Trump's immunity claim as alternate electors, which the left has insisted on dubbing fake electors, are indicted in Arizona. What does your humble host have to do with that? Possibly nothing. But an email I received from a CNN reporter on Sunday now looks very strange in hindsight. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show. I will apologize in advance for my voice. I think I shouted myself hoarse at a baseball practice last evening. Let's just say it's very difficult to call balls and strikes when you're also playing center field with a bunch of 7th and 8th graders. It's always fun, but sometimes I pay for it the next day. If you would like to join the show, the AdventNews.com talk and text line is open, 414-799-1130. Reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me, DOD@iHeartMedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, where you can watch the show streaming live, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. We are also streaming there. Be sure to share the live broadcast because it is, frankly, not appearing in a whole lot of people's timelines, and we don't think that's a coincidence. And we're streaming also on YouTube. Just search for the Dan O'Donnell Show, like and subscribe. Smash that like button, as the kids say. Spring Green Cash Contest. Word this hour is bills. Pay some bills with $1,000 in your pocket, courtesy of iHeartMedia. BILLS bills. You've got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword bills. Sunday afternoon at exactly 1:42 p.m., I received the following email from Marshall Cohen, a reporter from CNN. Hey, Dan. My name is Marshall Cohen, and I'm a reporter from CNN. I have obtained some documents showing that pro-Trump attorney Ken Chesebro sent you a series of direct messages on Twitter during the 2020 presidential election. There is no indication that you responded to his messages, which largely pertain to his efforts to organize alternate electors to help Trump overturn the results. Have you ever been in contact with Chesebro? Thanks, Marshall. I responded, I'll be honest, until you just told me, I had no idea he ever DM'd me. I don't think I've ever met him or spoken to him. Cohen responds, that makes sense. Thanks for letting me know. I thought it was very bizarre. When's the last time anybody had talked about the quote-unquote fake electors here in Wisconsin? And I sort of put that out of my mind. I did mention it that evening when I was giving a keynote address to the Columbia County Republican Party, but after that, I kind of made a note of it. Hey, maybe it might be something funny to mention on the show, but I never did because it was just so random. It was so out of the blue. I got distracted with other things. And then yesterday evening, I heard the announcement from the Attorney General of Arizona, Chris Mays, who announced a series of indictments, including of President Trump's attorney and America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani, in a fake elector scheme in Arizona.
We're here because justice demands an answer to the efforts that the defendants and other unindicted co-conspirators allegedly took to undermine the will of Arizona's voters during the 2020 presidential election. Arizona's election was free and fair. The people of Arizona elected President Biden. Unwilling to accept this fact, the defendants charged by the state grand jury allegedly schemed to prevent the lawful transfer of the presidency. Whatever their reasoning was, the plot to violate the law must be answered for, and I was elected to uphold the law of this state.
Well, unfortunately, she's not upholding the law of this state because the law of Arizona, federal law, the Constitution, pretty much every governing document we have in this country allows for the seating of alternate electors. This is not criminal. It's not a scheme to undo the election. It is perfectly lawful, whether it's in Wisconsin or Arizona or any other state. Still, a grand jury, which, as the old saying goes, can indict a baked potato if the prosecutors want it so, indicted Giuliani as well as former Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and his attorney Boris Epshteyn, as well as all of those alternate electors, 11 of them who convened at the Arizona GOP headquarters in Phoenix to sign a certificate claiming to be Arizona's 11 electors to the Electoral College. Biden did win the state by 10,457 votes. State officials certified his electors. The state Republican Party documented the signing of the certificate in a social media post and sent it to Congress and the National Archives. Now, Trump himself is not indicted, but he is listed as unindicted co-conspirator 1 in the indictment. This includes charges of conspiracy, fraud, and forgery. Other people charged in this you might have heard of: attorneys Jenna Ellis, John Eastman, Christina Bobb, as well as former White House official Mike Roman. I don't know how many different ways, how many different times I can explain in plain English that it is perfectly lawful, it is perfectly constitutional, when there is some dispute about whether or not the election results were accurate in a state, it is legally required. It's not just something you can do. It is legally required. In Wisconsin, in Arizona, in any other state where there were some questions about the legitimacy of the election, the Electoral College has to meet on December 14th. The only way that you can actually have constitutionally and legally a valid challenge to the Electoral College vote is if there is an alternate slate of electors. If this was some sort of secretive conspiracy, either in Arizona or Wisconsin, why did both parties, both Republican parties in both states, put out press releases on it? I still can't find that in my email archives. I think I probably delete it periodically. It's sort of like as often as they update the voter rolls here in Wisconsin, I actually am forced to, usually when I get to about 30,000, 40,000 emails in my system, I won't be able to receive any more. So I've got to do some spring cleaning and mass deletions. I suspect that alternate elector press release was in one of the rounds of deletions. But the point is that I saw on December 14th, while there was still a pending case before the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and by the way, the United States Supreme Court did not give a final rejection to the appeal, did not say that they wouldn't take up the Trump team's appeal until February of 2021. So while all this was going on, there was an active court case, and the results of Wisconsin were very much in doubt. Let's say, for the sake of arguments, that Trump would have prevailed in Arizona. He would have been able to prove, after the forensic audits and all of this, that he was the rightful winner of the Arizona election. What would happen if there wasn't an alternate slate of electors that were seated? The only electors that could possibly cast their ballots would be Biden electors, and they would actually cast their ballots for Biden, even though Trump won the state. In fact, there is a history of this. In the 1960 presidential election in Hawaii, there was an alternate slate of electors who convened even though Hawaii's electoral votes were awarded to Richard Nixon. There was an alternate slate who convened and cast their ballots for John F. Kennedy. Guess what? It turned out after a recount that Nixon didn't actually win Hawaii at all. Had those alternate electors not been seated and not voted for Kennedy, they would not have been able to be added to Kennedy's electoral vote total. Now, nobody remembers this because Kennedy won by way more than the margin of Hawaii's electoral votes, thanks to cheating in Texas and Illinois. Oh, wait, no, I'm not supposed to say that. America's elections are always on the up and up. Now watch this show get totally censored. It's just sort of taken for granted now. It's something of a legend of dead people voting for John F. Kennedy in the 1960 election in Illinois. There were also reports of widespread illegality in Texas in 1960, but we don't talk about that because, of course, it benefited a Democrat. But the alternate electors were seated. The alternate electors actually had their votes counted in the official certification and count of Congress's vote on January 6th, 1961. So there is precedent. There is history of this. Moreover, as in Wisconsin, all of these quote-unquote fake electors in Arizona acted on the advice of counsel, following the 1960 precedent, following every interpretation of constitutional law as it pertains to the Electoral College vote. You need to, if you are challenging the results of an election, seat an alternate slate of electors. Now, if tampering with electors or potentially getting electors to change their vote is illegal, I will point you to the celebrity video that was put out in 2016 of all, like, what was it? Martin Sheen, I believe, Deborah Messing, every left-wing celebrity. It was a who's who of Hollywood liberals urging electors to do the right thing. And instead of casting their ballots for Donald Trump, who is going to be a tyrant and destroy democracy as we know it, they wanted those electors to essentially destroy democracy as we know it. And even though they were elected from the several states to vote for Donald Trump in the Electoral College, they should change their vote. In fact, a couple of them, it was one or two, actually did. One voted for Clinton, one voted for, I want to say maybe Jill Stein, but there were a couple of examples of faithless electors. Now, this was clearly an organized plan by people who had money to put together and get together all these celebrities and put together this video. So should they be charged with interfering with trying to undermine the democratic process, to try to shake the very foundations of democracy? Or is it perfectly legal, just as it was in 2016, as it was in 2020, to actually challenge the results of an election, to lobby electors to vote for a different candidate? That is protected First Amendment speech. There is nothing illegal about that. Last time I checked, Martin Sheen wasn't rotting away in federal prison. But now all of a sudden, and wouldn't you know it, in a critical swing state that Trump just happens to be leading by 6 or 7 points in pretty much every poll, they hand down indictments, not against Trump, because, of course, this case is so incredibly flimsy. It might be every bit as flimsy as the New York Manhattan District Attorney's case. Producer Dave, you have that video of the celebrities. Let's take a listen to some of the celebrities saying, don't vote for Donald Trump electors. Here's Martin Sheen kicking it off.
Republican members of the Electoral College, this message is for you. As you know, our founding fathers built the Electoral College to safeguard the American people from the dangers of a demagogue and to ensure that the presidency only goes to someone who is to an eminent degree endowed with the requisite qualifications.
An eminent degree. Someone who is highly qualified for the job.
That's Deborah Messing.
The Electoral College was created specifically to prevent an unfit candidate from
This is James Cromwell.
There are 538 members of the Electoral College. You
and just 36 other conscientious Republican electors can make a difference.
By voting your conscience on December 19th.
And thereby shaping the future of our nation.
I'm not asking you to vote for Hillary Clinton.
I'm not asking you to vote for Hillary Clinton.
I'm not asking you to vote for Hillary Clinton.
As you know, the Constitution gives electors the right to vote for any eligible person.
Any eligible person, no matter which party they belong to.
But it should certainly be someone you consider especially competent.
Especially competent to serve as President of the United States of America.
So is this a plot to overturn the Electoral College or not? Is this something that should have led to indictments for every one of those celebrities? I believe I heard Noah Wiley in there from ER, whole bunch of other people of varying degrees of fame. We couldn't exactly tell who was who in that who's who of Hollywood leftists. But if that's not interference with the Electoral College, but merely putting together an alternate slate of electors is, where do we draw the line? Great comment on Facebook. Stephen, watching the Facebook live stream. I find it ironic that the same people, all in a twist over fake electors, were the same people who had no problem with Al Gore's fake transition team in 2001. That's it exactly. Had Gore not suffered the definitive defeat in the United States Supreme Court shortly before the Electoral College met, which stopped the recounts in Florida, he absolutely would have put together an alternate slate of electors because it would have been his only recourse. He would have had an alternate slate of electors ready to go and cast ballots for him, and they would have done so. So in case there was a recount that was allowed to keep going, and the recount would have showed that, hey, what do you know? Gore actually did win Florida. Those votes would be handed to Congress. Congress would count those electors and not the Bush electors, and it all would have been perfectly legal. So if you have a leftist who is saying, well, it's the fake elector, and here we go, it's a plot to steal the 2020 election in Arizona. Ask them, okay, what about 1960? Was that an illegal plot by John F. Kennedy to steal Hawaii's electoral votes? What about in 2001 or 2000? Would it have been a plot to steal the election had Gore seated alternate electors in Florida? What about in 2016 when all of those celebrities were openly, and about as openly as possible, telling electors, hey, don't vote for Donald Trump? All of that is legal, and so too was the quote-unquote fake elector scheme in Arizona and Wisconsin, which, by the way, as I'll explain next, I believe is next.
While most other furniture finishers restore wood furniture using high-pressure water to remove old lacquer and varnish, we only use a chemical solvent. Because when you use water, it will eventually raise the grain, loosen glue joints, and lift veneer. So if you have something really special that you'd like to restore, call us. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you want your restored antique piece to remain primitive, no problem. Maybe you want to restore it to as good as new condition. We can do that. The way we work is based solely on what your needs are. And that seems to make the process of restoring your unique piece almost always a positive one. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no jobs too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
Progressive presents 10 things on a contractor's to-do list that are harder than getting a commercial auto insurance quote. Bidding a new client, giving an accurate estimate, finding affordable materials, getting a client to pay you for work you already did, getting a client to pay you, period, securing permits and workers and tools, getting those workers and tools to work together, and finding the perfect pair of overalls. Pockets, baby. But the easiest thing on a small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you can save on commercial auto insurance. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
You know, today, $20 barely gets you a burger and fries, and maybe it'll get you a quarter tank of gas. But you know what it'll get you, though? For just $20 a month, you get unlimited talk and text and plenty of 5G data from my friends, my cell phone company, a veteran-owned company, Pure Talk. Make the switch today, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Now, choose a wireless company that shares your values. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, make the switch today. Pound 250, keyword save now from Pure Talk.
Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, where you'll get the industry's hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty on your new roof. And now free annual inspections.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Life is better outdoors with maintenance-free patio furniture from By the Yard. Made in the USA and backed by a 35-year warranty. See all the styles and colors at their new showroom in Oconomowoc or shop at bytheyard.net.
Today's Dan O'Donnell program is brought to you by Great Midwest Bank. Whether you're ready to buy, build, or renovate, Great Midwest Bank takes the stress out of paying for it. Get started today at greatmidwestbank.com.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement to stock market risk? How would you like the potential to participate in credited interest from market index returns and limit the downside? Join Joe Brown for the Safe Money and Income Radio Show on Sunday at 7:30 a.m. and 8 p.m.
Let's dip into the United States Supreme Court as Justice Amy Coney Barrett is questioning John Sauer, an attorney for former President Trump, regarding the former president's claims of total immunity from prosecution in official acts done as president.
And a co-conspirator attorney directed that effort.
You read it quickly. I believe that's private. I don't want to.
So those acts you would not dispute. Those were private, and you wouldn't raise a claim that they were official.
As characterized, what we would say, Your Honor, if I may, what we would say is official is things like meeting with the Department of Justice to deliberate about who's going to be the acting Attorney General of the United States.
Sure.
Communicating with the American public, communicating with Congress about matters of enormous fact.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. And what is the consequence in terms of going forward with your acknowledgement that those are private acts as opposed to official acts?
If you look at the indictment here, there's a bunch of acts that we think are just clearly official. There may be allegations that mostly relate to what the government has described here as private aim or private end, and the court should remand or address itself, but remand for a Brewster-like determination, which is what's official and what's private. The official stuff has to be expunged completely from the indictment before the case can go forward. And
you know why we're playing this? Because John Sauer's voice is even more raspy than mine this morning, and I just wanted to let you folks hear the comparison so you're not complaining too badly about the vocal nodules that I think I developed last night at baseball practice.
If what you get in exchange is to become the ambassador to a particular country, that is official, the appointment. It's within the president's prerogatives. The unofficial part is I'm going to get $1 million for it. So if you say you have to expunge the official part, how does that go forward?
This particular indictment, where we say virtually all the overt conduct is official, we don't believe it would be able to go forward. I mean, there could be a case where it would, but if you look at even the government's brief in this case divides up the indictment into things that, other than the electors' allegations, don't really they haven't disputed that they are official acts, but what they do is say, well, we tie it all together by characterizing it as done, and these are the allegations that the court just referred to, by an improper private aim or private end. Again, that's their words, and that just runs loggerheads, dead set against this court's case law, saying you don't look at, when immunity determinations, the improper motivation or purpose.
Thank you.
That is John Sauer, the attorney for former President Trump, being questioned by John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett. Oral arguments going on right now in the Trump January 6th case. He is arguing that official acts done as president are immune from prosecution. And the questioning is centered around what exactly constitutes an official act. So, for example, let's say President Trump, well, here's a good example. President Obama ordering a drone strike that killed an American citizen who also happened to be the leader of ISIS. Could he be prosecuted for homicide? No, right? It was an act of war. It was something done in the official duties of a president. Well, what if, let's say this didn't happen in the Middle East, but let's say the droning happened in Maryland. Could a local prosecutor in Maryland say President Trump or President Obama, in our example, droned the leader of ISIS in Baltimore? Could the local prosecutor in Baltimore prosecute the President of the United States for homicide since the murder took place in his jurisdiction? Now, The reason that this is a Supreme Court case is that this has been a long-standing practice of the Justice Department, and local prosecutors have always sort of followed along, and they've been forced to because of the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution. But this sort of arose, the constitutional question sort of arose with Nixon and Watergate. Could Nixon have been prosecuted, or could Nixon be prosecuted after he was out of office for things that he did while in office, things that he would have claimed were official duties? So this is finally getting to the Supreme Court. My guess is that there is not presidential immunity that's total, but there is a substantial amount of presidential immunity that does attach. Speaking of presidents, former President Trump will be in Southeast Wisconsin next week. We'll have the details and so much more here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.
This is a unique place, and there aren't many businesses around like us. We're locally owned, but we've been known to do business on a nationwide scale. We're a retail business, but we're also a distributor. We sell the finest windows and doors and install them all with Craftsman detail. But we also carry the widest selection of replacement parts you can find and are happy to give you valuable advice, so you actually don't have to buy new replacement windows or doors just yet. Like I said, we are different, and that's good. In fact, it's great for you, and it's been great for thousands of our customers who rely on us year in and year out for the best products and industry expertise you just can't find everywhere. This is David Wilhelm. For the highest quality replacement windows and doors and a massive selection of the parts you need to make them last, your clear choice for more is Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. Find us at lisbonstorm.com.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Welcome to This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Dan O'Donnell alongside the president and CEO of Annex, Dave Spano. And this week, over the past few days, we have really seen something that we haven't in a long time. A losing streak for the S&P 500, Dave.
Yeah, last week was not good. Of course, 6 straight days of losing in the S&P 500. We haven't seen that since October of 2022. And what's happening is the Fed Chairman Powell is starting to rethink rate cuts, and the market is starting to digest that as well. He was talking about being more patient, Dan, throughout 2024 because of some disappointing inflation data. We looked at that, and of course now the betting markets are starting to push that rate cut not to June, but all the way out to September now, right before the election. And so the Fed wants to try to wait it out while American consumers are beginning to grow accustomed to higher rates and starting to get mortgages at higher rates, despite the fact that they are at higher numbers. And so therefore, Dan, will we have higher rates for longer? Something you and I have talked about for a significant amount of time. And how will consumers react to those higher rates? That's why when you go through your portfolio, some are doing better than others. And we're going to see that as earnings come out over this week and next. And the companies that beat will get rewarded, and those that don't will be punished.
We had just assumed that there were going to be multiple rate cuts. We'd see them in March, we'd see them in June, we'd see them throughout 2024. And now with inflation being much, much stickier than we previously thought, is it possible that we don't get a single rate cut this year, that decision, in fact, gets put out to 2025? We shall see. And this is why you do need to know what you own own, why you own it. Head to annexwealth.com. For Dave Spano, President and CEO of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell. This has been This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Attend Biz Expo May 22nd at Brookfield Conference Center. Learn how to build a legendary brand by creating raving fans from keynote speaker and author Scott Wozniak. Attend strategy seminars on company culture, business growth, AI and cybersecurity, leadership, exit planning, tax savings for business, and more. Network and connect with your peers and the region's leading product and service providers. Biz Expo is Wednesday, May 22nd. Register to attend at biztimes.com/bizexpo.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss even when you monitor your credit. If your identity's stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% their first year with my name, Clay, as the promo code at lifelock.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ACI accredited NARI member, A+ BBB rating, dwelling contractor certified, fully insured and bonded. Licensed in Wauwatosa, Milwaukee, and Wisconsin for 25 years, standing behind the concrete Wisconsin businesses and residents stand on. DornbrookConstruction.com.
Hi, Bob Pucci for the Take Kid Hunting Foundation. We're having the Waukesha Gun Show this weekend at the Waukesha Expo next to the airport. Show hours are Friday from 3 p.m. to 8, Saturday 9 to 5, and Sunday 9 to 3. Admission is $8, 14 under are free.
Coming up at 10:35, we will talk with Milwaukee County Supervisor Deanna Alexander. She's making an announcement about her political future. That's coming up at 10:35. Also in the 10 o'clock hour, a teenager shot in 3 consecutive days. So, of course, who is to blame? Why, the Wisconsin legislature, of course. Clearly, coming up at the end of this hour, it is the Unhinged Liberal of the Day. We have got a jam-packed show. Throughout the day, we will be going back and forth with the United States Supreme Court oral arguments underway into former President Trump's claims of total presidential immunity in his January 6th federal prosecution. It is believed that the court, after hearing oral arguments today, is going to turn around very quickly with a decision on this, because obviously federal prosecutors are desperate, just desperate, to get this case prosecuted before Election Day. For some reason, has nothing to do with the election, just they need to get this prosecuted before Election Day. Now, on Sunday, I received an email from CNN reporter Marshall Cohen, who says he has obtained some documents showing that pro-Trump attorney Kenneth Chesborough sent you a series of direct messages on Twitter during the 2020 presidential election. There is no indication that you responded to his messages, which largely pertain to his efforts to organize alternate electors to help Trump overturn the results. Have you ever been in contact with Chesborough? I indicated that I hadn't until I actually searched my DMs, and I can find no evidence that someone named Kenneth Chesborough has ever contacted me. I have no reason to doubt this. These are probably official court documents that he's looking at. But where do you suppose CNN reporter Marshall Cohen received those court documents? Just so happens Kenneth Chesborough is also a central figure, as he was one of Trump's attorneys in the 2020 election challenges. He happens to be a central figure in Arizona, and since he wasn't indicted in this round of indictments announced by Arizona's Attorney General, it's believed that he is cooperating with the prosecution. It is my very strong suspicion, therefore, that Cohen got a heads up either from Chesborough or from the Arizona Attorney General. I have actually sent an email to Marshall saying, hey, Marshall, in light of the Arizona indictments, why did you, this email takes on something of a new characterization, because I was so taken aback by how out of the blue it was. And in fact, while I guess my name did appear in the quote-unquote fake electors scandal, in the fever swamps of liberal talk radio, which does still exist, believe it or not. Did you know there is a liberal talk radio network in Wisconsin? Grand total. No, it is not WTMJ, Dave. It is called Civic Media. And in the fever swamps of Civic Media, I am told that I am part of the plot to overturn the election now. Because what the Trump attorneys apparently were talking about is, hey, let's get this out on talk radio. And talk, let's get on the Dan O'Donnell show with this information. Oh, yes, I am a huge, call me unindicted co-conspirator 5, because, yeah, I'm totally in on that plot, you absolute buffoons. You know what the biggest problem with liberal talk radio is and liberal talk networks, why Air America failed? A, yes, they're not entertaining. B, there's already a national liberal network. It's called Public Radio. And C, liberals don't listen to political talk in the same way that conservatives do, and liberals can't do political talk in the same way that conservatives do, because they can't build a case. Essentially what we do is we're sort of like attorneys. We build a case for what it is that we're talking about. Each segment builds towards something. You can only say Trump is ugly, he's fat, and he's orange, and his hair is fake so many times before your audience says, wow, this is really, really repetitive. Speaking of former President Trump, he is going to be in Waukesha. This should be a lot of fun. On his one day off, remember, the trial is Monday and Tuesday. There's a day off Wednesday, and then they're back in session Thursday and Friday. Now, what Trump's team told me the last time he was in Wisconsin, in Green Bay, on April 1st, or April 2nd, I guess. We interviewed him on April 1st. He was in town on April 2nd. He was in Green Bay for a big rally there. They told me, look, this is so out of the norm for Manhattan court. They have court Monday through Thursday, which would make logical sense, right? Everybody wants to get away on Friday and have a long weekend. But they're making a special case for Trump and having the day off Wednesday, right smack dab in the middle of the week, so that he can't campaign on Friday. He can't campaign on Saturday unless he goes right from trial and goes right to a rally, which naturally would start later than it otherwise would. So Trump is going to be in Green Bay, in Waukesha, Wednesday, May 1st. According to a news release, he'll talk about his efforts to deliver safety and affordability to Wisconsin. His remarks are set for 2 p.m. May 1st at the Waukesha County Expo Center. General admission tickets not yet available. My guess is they will be in either the next couple of days or even the next couple of hours. If and when they are, we will, of course, pass that information on to you. Let's now go back to the United States Supreme Court. Trump's attorney John Sauer answering questions from Justice Neil Gorsuch.
Convention is an excellent distinction.
Justice Kavanaugh?
Just follow up on the OLC opinions question. As you read them, and I think I read them, they articulate a clear statement rule as to this court's cases for covering official acts. And your point, I think, but I just want to underscore this, is that none of the statutes alleged here or cited here have a clear statement covering the president, therefore meaning that the president can't be charged for any official acts under these statutes.
That's absolutely correct. They're extended way beyond. I mean,
that's separate from the question what's official versus what's personal. But for that bucket that is official, there's no clear statement, period.
That's right. And as to purely private conduct, we don't think that clear statement rule would be invoked. But as to official acts, these statutes, the ones charged in the indictment, are just way far afield from purporting to criminalize in clear terms the president's official acts.
And then just to clarify this, the president's not above the law. The president's not a king. The founders thought that. I think your point in response to that is the president is subject to prosecution for all personal acts, just like every other American for personal acts. The question is acts taken in an official capacity.
That's correct. And even those, of course, if there was an impeachment and conviction, could be prosecuted on our view. And we'd emphasize the whole series of structural checks in addition to that, which deter those and have successfully deterred presidential misfeasance for 234 years.
Then on the source.
Quick poll. Who has the better voice, John Sauer, Trump's attorney, or Bobby Kennedy Jr.? It is too close to call, isn't it? Coming up next, we will name the unhinged liberal of the day. Stay tuned. The Dan O'Donnell Show will be right back.
Robert Hack Diamonds pays cash for your unwanted gold, silver, and even diamonds. That's right, Robert Hack Diamonds wants to make you an offer on your gold, silver, and diamonds. With gold at all-time highs, this is the time to sell. The process is very simple. No appointment needed. Just come on in, sit down in a nice, relaxed atmosphere, and the staff at Robert Hack Diamonds will evaluate your unwanted gold, silver, and diamonds and make you an offer on the spot. Then, you can decide if you want a deal or no deal. Gold is at an all-time high, so why not see what it's worth? Now is the perfect time to sell your gold, and Robert Hack Diamonds can also convert your old jewelry into something new with our goldsmiths. Or trade in your outdated pieces for something new and exciting. Again, Robert Hack Diamonds pays cash for your unwanted gold, silver, and diamonds. Yes, we also buy coins, flatware, silver, platinum, the list goes on. If in doubt, come on in. Robert Hack Diamonds. See them in Brookfield, just east of Moreland on Greenfield Avenue, or 76th and Layton, right on the corner in Greenfield, or always online at roberthackdiamonds.com.
With nearly 50 years of experience, my dad, Jim Mullally, has taught my cousin Mark everything he knows. In fact, he bestowed so much expertise onto Mark that Mark went to New York to compete against the top furniture finishers in the country. And you know what? He won. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. The bulk of our business is in wood furniture restoration. We found that there are a lot of folks out there with antique furniture and heirloom pieces that are in good shape, but just need to be brought back to life again. Well, that's our specialty. And right here in Mequon, you'll find one of the country's top furniture finishers. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
This is Mike and Jim from Brillo Home Improvements.
What's the matter, Mike? You're off today. Is something wrong?
Doggone it. I was trying not to show it. But you know what? There is something that's bothering me.
What's going on?
Jim, you want to know what really grinds my gears?
What?
Shoddy workmanship. And you know when you're a remodeler, you're going to see it.
Well, yeah, because we're the ones tearing down the job that give it a whole new look.
Yeah, and that means we see some good, but a lot of bad. And it's those guys that give guys like us a bad name.
But that's not us.
At Brillo, you'll find pride of workmanship, and it glares each time we walk off the site of another job well done.
You can trust Brillo.
Yeah, we won't let you down.
Berneri, award-winning home remodeling.
And about as down-to-earth of an approach as you're going to find.
Call Brillo.
Because at the end of the day, what counts most is that your job is done right.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Wondering what to get Mom on her special day? Let the friendly folks at Miners Garden Center help. Plants, hanging pots and baskets. Maybe it's a blooming tree, a fountain, or other yard art like bird baths or wrought iron. For a touching personal gift she'll treasure, it's Miners Garden Center. 20 acres of great gifts for Mom. It's gardening from the ground up. A family tradition since 1950. Miners Garden Center, 76th, just north of Good Hope.
Have you heard that real estate commissions are coming down? Ask your 6% broker if they're still charging 6%. Spoiler alert, they are. Before you overpay to sell your home, Google Redefined Realty. We have 15 to 20 agents, 3 local offices, West Bend, Waukesha, and Pewaukee, and over 500 5-star Google reviews. At just 3.99%, you can sell your home for a fair price and get the professional full-service MLS representation that you deserve. Don't pay 6% in such a hot housing market. It's just 3.99% at Redefined Realty for the same thing.
If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Their physicians specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center. See orthowisconsin.com.
Learn the secrets to create your own ultimate backyard retreat with Brett Ochtenhagen of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. Tune in every Saturday at 1 p.m. on News Talk 1130 WISN. Learn more at seasonalservices.com.
Wasn't in the bathroom, ladies and gentlemen. I was on the phone, working some sources, working on a story I hope to have ready to go by early next week. I'm thinking, hey, speaking of next week, not that I'm counting down or anything, not that I have had a timer in my office. It's sort of like the doomsday clock, and it's ticking closer and closer and closer to Mark Belling returning to host his afternoon show Wednesday, May 1st on WISN. If you are looking, should I do a live stream? Should I turn on the Dano cam at 3:06 on Wednesday afternoon so we can determine how many beers deep I'm going to be on the golf course? We already determined I think I'm going to go golfing with my dad and his best buddy, Mike Widman, actually. I don't know if I should. He's an attorney, and he's been my dad's best friend since, like, high school, and the three of us are golfing buddies. It's me and the two old guys, and Mike always says his wife is, like, the number one Dan O'Donnell super fan, and she is constantly saying, how did Kevin have a son that is just so intelligent? I've known Kevin his whole life. How? No, I'm just kidding. She doesn't say that, but she is a big fan. So, Mrs. Widman, we do thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support. And yes, I'm looking outside. I was actually outside on the phone with one of my sources, and I'm like, oh man, next week. I can't wait. No, I have, honest to goodness, do you remember Producer Dave? When I used to complain about this show being too short and me having so many topics that I'll get ready and you have no idea, folks, how many topics get jettisoned just because we don't have enough time. Well, it's sort of like the Chinese curse, right? Oh, you want more time, do you, Dan? Here's 5 hours a day. No, I have actually loved every second of it. The job we do as talk show hosts is so unbelievably fun that, while yes, it's mentally taxing, and believe it or not, how animated I am, you can see if you're watching on the Dano cam, it's physically demanding. Believe it or not, I am physically tired when I get done with a show. I genuinely do love every second of it. I love what I do. I couldn't imagine doing anything else because I get to make fun of the libs all day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Producer Dave, we do have a vote from Daniel. Yes, turn on the Dano cam the afternoon of your last day. We want to see the Drunko cam. No, I've got to coach like a soccer practice, I think a baseball practice that afternoon. So suffice it to say, it will not be the Drunko cam. All right, today's unhinged liberal of the day. Oh, yes, here we go. People want to know, did Dan fall asleep? Okay, I was actually taking a nap. There is no deep undercover source. I don't actually do any investigative work. Commercial breaks, I go back to my office and take a quick nap. Today's unhinged liberal of the day is actress Susan Sarandon. She was confronted on the streets of New York for supporting the pro-Hamas protests by a Jewish activist, or I don't even know if this was an activist or just a Jewish young woman on the street who said, well, how can you support the people who raped and murdered innocent young people on October 7th? Sarandon called the rapes myths.
All of those myths about babies and ovens and the rapes have all been denied.
I'm sorry. You're denying the terror actions that have been made in October 7 to so many innocent civilians.
About the 35,000 people
according
that
to
have
who?
been killed.
According to who?
We have an appointment. We have to.
I'm sorry that you're supporting a terror organization. They're coming for you next, Susan. Educate yourself. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
Kudos to that young woman for standing firm. Sarandon said if you couldn't hear all those myths about babies in ovens and rapes, no, that actually did happen. And that's why Susan Sarandon is your unhinged liberal of the day. Massive news in the Hollywood and legal communities. New York's Court of Appeals has overturned the conviction of disgraced producer. Nobody defamed Harvey Weinstein because everything they said he did and way worse. Terrible joke in there, Dave. But yes. Disgraced producer Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction was overturned, finding, the court did, the judge prejudiced the ex-movie mogul with egregious improper rulings, including a decision to let women testify about allegations that weren't part of the case. And in fact, when this trial was going on, I remember distinctly talking about this and saying, hey, this is producing grounds for appeal. I'm not going to take credit that this was my idea. I think it was Dershowitz. One of them, Dershowitz or Turley, one of the Fox News legal analysts was saying, hey, wait a minute. And I picked up on that and said, yeah, you kind of can't prejudice the jury like that. And sure enough, now this does not mean he gets to go free. New York is almost certainly going to retry him. I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of plea deal reached. But Harvey Weinstein's criminal charges in 2017, and it really started the Me Too movement and led to the downfall of a whole lot of powerful people in Hollywood, in government. Al Franken was forced to resign. You might remember that. Okay, coming up next hour, Milwaukee crime and a Milwaukee County supervisor makes a big announcement live right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. Former President Donald Trump will be back in Wisconsin soon. Trump's campaign says he'll be in Waukesha May 1st. Stop there will be Trump's first visit to Wisconsin since earlier this month when he was in Green Bay. Prior to that, he hadn't been in Wisconsin since a rally in August of 2022. Trump's currently on trial in New York on charges that he falsified business records to cover up payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. The presiding judge uses Wednesdays to attend to other cases that would allow for Trump's visit to Waukesha. The U.S. Supreme Court today will consider Trump's assertion of total immunity from criminal charges over his attempt to overturn the 2020 election results. The court will address the question of whether a former president can be prosecuted for what Trump's attorneys say were official acts taken in office, though much of the focus remains on whether the justices will rule quickly so a trial can take place before the November election. The Milwaukee Public Market is the best of its kind in the country. The market in the city's historic 3rd Ward came out on top in USA Today's 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards for the public market category. The honor followed a nomination process which winnowed the list down to 20 public markets around America and a month-long period of voting. The Milwaukee market finished ahead of other famous public markets in Boston and Detroit, as well as Seattle's Pike Place. Checking the WISN Sports Scoreboard, the Packers currently have 11 picks for the 2024 NFL Draft, which gets started tonight in Detroit. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Ahlin on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
This is a unique place, and there aren't many businesses around like us. We're locally owned, but we've been known to do business on a nationwide scale. We're a retail business, but we're also a distributor. We sell the finest windows and doors and install them all with Craftsman detail. But we also carry the widest selection of replacement parts you can find and are happy to give you valuable advice, so you actually don't have to buy new replacement windows or doors just yet. Like I said, we are different, and that's good. In fact, it's great for you, and it's been great for thousands of our customers who rely on us year in and year out for the best products and industry expertise you just can't find everywhere. This is David Wilhelm. For the highest quality replacement windows and doors and a massive selection of the parts you need to make them last, your clear choice for more is Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. Find us at lisbonstorm.com.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
A frosty start with a freeze warning in effect for all of southeastern Wisconsin until 8 a.m. Should warm up efficiently, get to 52 this afternoon with ample sunshine. 40 tonight, and then rain arrives with 50s tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by ARR Recycling in Waukesha and West Dallas.
Recycling pays. Go to ARR with your recyclable copper, brass, lead, steel, or aluminum and get cash. Visit them at ARR1938.com or stop into their West Dallas or Waukesha location. ARR Recycling since 1938.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab-overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit LynchTruckCenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Catering to all who appreciate quality installation, a great value, and the finest windows and doors. Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. Find us at lisbonstorm.com.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and as a community bank, we sincerely appreciate our customer loyalty. Over nearly 90 years, we've done all we can to return the favor. Great Midwest Bank offers flexible solutions that bigger banks and credit unions simply can't, because our entire team is right here in the community. We love helping our neighbors when we're at work and then catching up over the weekend. Visit us at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Trees on the Move, offering ideas for outdoor living and beautifying with landscape consultation, design, and installation, including retaining walls, paved patios, tree trimming, and more. Trees on the Move's been offering landscape services for over 47 years and now offers stamped and colored concrete drives, patios, and sidewalks. Beautify your yard this year with Trees on the Move. TreesOnTheMove.com.
From planning to planting, Trees on the Move.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement to stock market risk? How would you like the potential to participate in credited interest from market index returns and limit the downside? Join Joe Brown for the Safe Money and Income Radio Show on Sunday at 7:30 a.m. and 8 p.m.
Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130 WISN.
Be sure to listen to the NX Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. NX provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
It's the Spring Green Cash Contest. Your chance at $1,000. Listen for the nationwide keyword weekdays 9 to 5 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Welcome back to another hour of conservative thought, not just talk. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, a tour de force of truth, the sort of truth the rest of the media ignores, if not outright buries. If you would like to join us on this foray into broadcast excellence, or at the very least, and yeah, probably more likely, broadcast competence, the adventknows.com talk and text line is open, 414-799-1130. Reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me, DOD@iHeartMedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, and you can watch the show streaming live on our YouTube channel. Please do repost us on X, share on Facebook, and like and subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a second of classical conservatism and contemporary style. And each and every hour from now until May 24th, we are giving you a chance at $1,000. We have had 3 winners on this show already in just a week and a half. In fact, we had one, was it yesterday or the day before? Day before? It was yesterday. We had a winner in the 10 o'clock hour yesterday. We also had one earlier this week and one last week. Total of 3 winners. Number 4, I firmly believe, will be you. All you need to do is enter the keyword check. 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 You've got until 55 past the hour to go to our website, enter the keyword check. If your entry is picked at random, you will win $1,000. Yeah, we send it in a check, but it's cash. It's $1,000. A teenager in Milwaukee has been shot 3 days in a row, and also just before 5:30 yesterday evening, a 12-year-old girl was shot in the face. They are seeking, authorities say, a known 13-year-old suspect. On Tuesday, a 17-year-old was shot on West Ruby Avenue at about 7 p.m. No one is in custody in that one. On Monday, shortly after noon, a 14-year-old was shot and transported to a hospital with non-fatal injuries. 16-year-old boy was arrested in connection to the shooting. Here's the story from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, available now, jsonline.com, reporter Drake Bentley. And I quote, "For years, police and public health officials in Milwaukee have railed against how easily accessible firearms are, even for young people or for those who are legally barred from possessing them. But lawmakers at the federal level and the Republican-controlled Wisconsin legislature have taken little to no action to restrict their access." You see, it's Republicans' fault that these teenagers keep getting shot in the face. Will someone kindly remind Drake Bentley and however many editors this story got past? I'm guessing not many, given all of the cuts at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel over the past decade. Will someone kindly remind him that we know where pretty much all crime guns in Milwaukee come from? This was Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman in January of last year.
We've seen an increase of guns being stolen from vehicles. This gives greater accessibility to individuals that may not be allowed to possess a firearm. If you legally carry a firearm, lock your vehicles and keep your firearms secured. Park in well-lit areas. Be aware of your surroundings.
In fact, Chief Norman said that there were more than 1,200 guns stolen just from cars just in the city of Milwaukee in 2 years, 2021 and 2022. Now, it's interesting that after dropping that little nugget and hearing me, and I think I'm the only one who actually has put two and two together, that it's not softer gun laws, it's not easier access to guns, it's crimes begetting more crimes. It's the unwillingness or inability to actually do something about habitual criminality. Because, folks, I can tell you this, that yes, it is outside the norm for a 13-year-old to have a handgun and blast a 12-year-old girl in the face. But it is getting more and more normal for a 13-year-old to start stealing cars, to start getting involved in gang activity, selling drugs, and then his crimes progress. And in fact, a lot of times, these gangs will have younger and younger kids actually going out and stealing the guns. There was just an announcement Sunday evening before the Milwaukee Bucks game. Fiserv Forum, do not bring valuables that won't get past the metal detector. Don't leave anything in your cars. Fiserv Forum and the Milwaukee Bucks know exactly what's going on outside their games. And in fact, this is something that happens relatively often. I'm not going to say it happens all the time, but what you see is an entire line of cars that will just have the windows smashed and someone will go in very quickly. They're looking in the glove box for a gun. If they can see something of value like an iPad or a laptop, they'll take that, but they're not rummaging through the car while the alarm is going off. They're very quickly looking for a firearm, and they're getting 600 guns per year. Now, let's assume, just for the sake of arguments, because nobody else is following up on any of this data. I keep forgetting, by the way, to file an open records request for that data from the Milwaukee Police Department, because I seem to be the only one interested in actually knowing where all of these guns come from. Maybe, just maybe, it's because it sort of undoes this narrative that, well, it's getting easier and easier for criminals to get guns. It is, in the sense that they're able to steal them out of vehicles. Here's a pro tip for you. And I know I'm not saying anything to anyone who's a responsible concealed carry permit holder. If you have your gun in your vehicle, there is a reason you can lock the glove compartment. Keep the glove compartment locked, especially if you are going downtown, say for a Bucks game, if you're going down for what's going on right now. The Milwaukee Wave are playing, the Admirals are in the playoffs right now, Brewers, although you don't see that far west. There's never really been an issue with Milwaukee Brewers games, primarily because it's a secure parking lot, very well lit. Fiserv Forum is right in the heart of downtown, and a lot of people don't use the secure parking areas. They'll just try to find a spot on the street. And this is where you get these lines of cars. Every so often you'll see it. And we didn't quite know, okay, well, it's smash and grab. They're looking for any valuables. No, we didn't know until Chief Norman said that about a year and a couple of months ago, that what they're looking for is guns. And what they're looking for is guns that won't be able to be traced back to them. And this is a huge thing, obviously, if you're going to commit a crime with a gun. If you're going to shoot somebody, you don't want to use a gun that can get back to you. And the easiest way that they can find to do this is to simply steal the gun out of a car, steal the gun out of a house, stick up somebody for their guns. Yes, this does happen. And this is where the guns are coming from. Somebody please tell Milwaukee's newspaper of record where exactly this is going. Let's go back to the United States Supreme Court. I wanted to get a little bit of the questioning of the attorney for the special counsel. This is in the case of Trump's immunity. He is claiming presidential immunity from the January 6th prosecution. He's saying, look, I can't be prosecuted for, quote unquote, a conspiracy to steal an election because I am President of the United States, and everything I did was legally and constitutionally protected, ergo I should have total presidential immunity. Michael Dreeben is an attorney for special counsel Jack Smith. He's now being questioned by Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
And protection for the president. And I want to go through the protections that do exist, but perhaps it's worth returning at the outset to the statutory construction question that you raised. The Office of Legal Counsel has said the offense of bribery, of course, applies to the president. It does not name the president. Justice Gorsuch, Section 201 does not specifically name the president.
I would assume that's personal, so...
I think that
that's what Brewster said.
Bribery statute in 607 says the president. I've got it in front of me, and so there is that.
Well,
let me just back up, though, just a second to what was a quick exchange with Justice Kavanaugh that I just want to make sure I understand.
Yeah.
Did you agree that there are some core functions of the executive that president conduct that Congress cannot criminalize?
Yes.
Is that a form? I mean, we can call it immunity or you can call it they can't do it, but what's the difference?
We call it an as-applied Article 2 challenge.
Okay. Can we call it immunity just for shorthand's sake? So I think we are kind of narrowing the ground of dispute here. It seems to me there is some area you concede that an official acts that Congress cannot criminalize. And now we're just talking about the scope.
Well, I don't think it's a just, but I think it's a very significant gap between any official act and the small core of exclusive official acts.
I got that, but I want to explore that, okay? So, for example, let's say a president leads a mostly peaceful protest sit-in in front of Congress because he objects to a piece of legislation that's going through. Mm-hmm. And it, in fact, delays the proceedings in Congress. Now, under 1512C2, that might be corruptly impeding an official proceeding. Is that core and therefore immunized, or whatever word euphemism you want to use for that? Or is that not core and therefore prosecutable?
Well,
without a clear statement that applies to the president.
It's not core. The core kinds of activities that the court has acknowledged are the things that I would run through the Youngstown analysis. And it's a pretty small set, but things like the pardon power, the power to recognize foreign nations, the power to veto legislation, the power to make appointments, these are things that the Constitution specifically allocates to the president. Once you get out...
a president then could be prosecuted for the conduct I described after he leaves office?
Probably not, but I want to explain the framework of why I don't think that would be prosecution.
That's an interesting answer.
Run through all of the sort of normal categories of analysis. Is there a serious constitutional question that's posed by applying that statute to the president? If so, then you may well default to it does not apply, at least on that fact
I thought
pattern.
you said it, that was my question.
Yes,
and
I
you said
understand.
it fell outside that core we'll call it immunity for simplicity's sake.
Yes, I understand. But there's a separate category.
Okay, so why couldn't he be prosecuted for leading a civil rights protest in front of the Capitol that delays a vote on a piece of important legislation?
So I think what you need to do is run through all of the very president-specific protective layers of analysis. So one of them is whether the statute would be construed not to apply to his conduct, even if it's not part of that small core of things that Congress can't regulate at all. If it operates to prevent the president from fulfilling his Article 2.
He could have given speeches against it. He did.
Yes.
But he did something more, and it corruptly impeded and sought to influence an official proceeding.
Well, so I don't know. We're starting with the layers, I think, of protection, and we're now down through whether the statute would be construed to apply to him. Then there'd be a question of whether...
Assume it does.
I will assume it. Then there's a question of whether he has the state of mind necessarily to
Assume
violate
he does.
Okay.
Nobody knows what corrupt intent means. We've been around that tree
we will
twice
probably
already.
find out.
And maybe it means that he knows that he was doing wrong, is what the government told us.
Right.
He knows he's doing wrong. He knows he shouldn't be up there blocking a congressman from going.
Well, let me get to the next layer then, which is...
This is a fascinating discussion. We do have to step aside for a break. Neil Gorsuch raising an excellent point. What happens if a president is part of a protest that gets out of hand? Now, President Biden is a little bit too old to take part, but let's say, heaven forfend, President Kamala Harris. Could she be charged as part of this? And it's not as though this is just some sort of hypothetical. President Trump was involved in leading a protest that got a little bit out of hand, despite his call for peacefully walking over to the Capitol. So is this something that he could be prosecuted for? Dreeben was forced to admit no, probably not, which sort of undoes his entire case. Because if the president was doing something that's constitutionally protected, as President Trump was in saying, hey, I believe this election was not held on the up and up. And this is what's something that liberals just cannot get through their heads, or they can, because they've questioned the results of every single presidential election that they've lost this century, 2000, 2004, and 2016, that it is totally you have an absolute constitutional right to say, I don't think this election was on the up and up, whether you're the president or whether you're, a bagger at pick and save. When we come back, we will talk with Deanna Alexander. First, we'll talk a little bit about the NFL draft next on The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, the best decision after a collision. And you hear me talking all the time about how great Mander is, but here's customer Amber, who writes, the quality of customer service at Mander in Muskego has far exceeded my expectations. After being involved in an accident, not my fault, and having experienced some significant difficulties communicating with the individual that hit me, Mander went above and beyond to ensure my needs were being met. I have never felt so confident and secure as a customer. The staff truly has their customers' best interests at heart and shows it through their actions. Thank you, Mander, for alleviating my stress through an undesirable chain of events. Thanks so much for sharing your experience, Amber, because that's yet another reason why I recommend Mander so highly. Now with 6 locations to serve you, Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
Attend Biz Expo May 22nd at Brookfield Conference Center. Learn how to build a legendary brand by creating raving fans from keynote speaker and author Scott Wozniak. Attend strategy seminars on company culture, business growth, AI and cybersecurity, leadership, exit planning, tax savings for business, and more. Network and connect with your peers and the region's leading product and service providers. Biz Expo is Wednesday, May 22nd. Register to attend at biztimes.com/bizexpo.
Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for health care can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. So maybe you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're much happier with. Here's the number you need. 844-53-BIBLE. That's 844-53-BIBLE.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, Bob Pucci for the Take It Hunting Foundation. We're having the Waukesha Gun Show this weekend at the Waukesha Expo next to the airport. Show hours are Friday from 3 p.m. to 8, Saturday 9 to 5, and Sunday 9 to 3. Admission is $8, 14 under are free.
Before you buy an annuity, or worse yet, a variable life insurance policy, give us a chance to tell you both sides of the story.
Financial strategies are wisely the way to build your wealth.
Go to financialstrategiesinc.com.
There's only one store that gives you every possible choice in diamonds.
Welcome to Kessler's.
NFL Draft is tonight. Round 1 will be broadcast on, is it ESPN again, or are they doing the NFL Network? Oh, it's going to be on ABC? Oh, wow. Yep, ESPN and ABC. All right. It's kind of amazing that they don't broadcast NBA playoff games on network TV anymore, but they will broadcast the NFL Draft. Just another reminder of just how big NFL football is. Now, did I see this, producer Dave? Your son is going to the NFL Draft? I'm a little confused. Your wife and son are going to the NFL Draft. Why? Okay, so your wife loves fantasy football. She's in 2 leagues. And your 7-year-old is in love with the NFL, and they just decided they're going to do a little mom-son trip? Oh, you have family in the area. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. That's very cool. I happened to see that on Facebook. I was unaware that you guys were going out to the draft. That's very cool. That's going to be a lifelong memory for him next year. I am totally going to the NFL Draft in Green Bay. I think we should do the show on the road. I think it's a once in a lifetime thing. I can't imagine that they do too many drafts in late April in Green Bay because the weather doesn't always cooperate. Are they going to do it inside the atrium if they announce that? Packers, yeah. We don't know yet where the exact draft is going to be. It does seem a little boring to be there in person unless you know the players. And I'll admit, I was calling the guy that the Packers are most closely tied to. This is how much I follow college football. I've been calling him Cooper DeJean. It's apparently Cooper DeJean. Dave says, who's he? Your 7-year-old would know, Dave. Cooper DeJean is the defensive back from Iowa who is seen as the best defensive back in the draft outside of the guy with easily the best name since Ha Ha Clinton Dix. Kool-Aid McKinstry, cornerback out of Alabama. No, his nickname. His real name is probably something like Jeff. No, I do know it's a nickname because he loved Kool-Aid when he was a little boy. I happened to see a thing a couple of months ago. Kool-Aid McKinstry. That is an all-time name. The Packers are in need of a left tackle, obviously, with the departure of David Bakhtiari. They've really not had that rock at left tackle, which is easily the most important position on the field. That's not a quarterback because you're protecting the quarterback's blind side, unless, of course, the quarterback's a lefty. And I don't mean liberal. I mean left-handed quarterback. That's very rare. The names that I am seeing, I'm looking at ESPN's mock draft right now, and the Packers draft at 25th. I am seeing Amarius Mims, who is an offensive tackle out of Georgia. Rasheed Walker has, the Packers' Rasheed Walker. I'm not a huge fan. Let's just say I saw a few too many pockets collapse on Jordan Love, especially early on in the season. He did get better as the season got along. Right, exactly. You can never have enough offensive linemen, Dave, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. Beyond that, outside, I can't do any intelligent analysis because, frankly, all I've been hearing on sports talk radio is an analysis of where all the quarterbacks are going to go. And since the Packers don't need a quarterback for, it seems, the next decade or so, I sort of have been tuning that out. I will say there is a kid from Oak Creek who is projected to be a top 10 pick, offensive tackle from Alabama, J.C. Latham. Or Latham. I did not know he was from Oak Creek. He played high school football at Catholic Memorial, and good for him. So we will be rooting hard for him to get into the best possible scenario. Coming up next, we will talk with Milwaukee County Supervisor Deanna Alexanders, making a big announcement exclusively here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Next.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage, so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Whether it was from a burn, heat, water, or a candle wax spill, if you have a great piece of wood furniture that has a damaged top, don't worry, because if we have to, we can refinish tops only. Other places may say you need to refinish the whole piece, but we can do better than that. So don't let your great piece go to waste. If it's just the top you need refinished, or for jobs of any size, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. He was told it would cost him $1,000 to refinish his chair. But when it was done, he'd be able to sell it for at least twice that. Only to find out that he paid more to refinish the chair than it was actually worth. You gotta watch out for dishonest people out there. But not over here. With over 50 years of experience, we'll give you a good idea of the value of your piece and whether it's worth refinishing. So for honest answers, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
Hi, this is Nick from Metro Milwaukee Homebuyer. And if you want to sell your house fast for cash, contact us today. We are a local family business, A+ with the BBB, and we always treat you right. Visit MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com to get your fair as-is cash offer today.
Hey, NBA fans, playoff action is heating up, and so too is the action on Pick 6, the newest real money fantasy app from DraftKings, which is, of course, an official partner of the NBA. Here's how Pick 6 works. All you do is pick if a player is going to have more or less of a stat. For example, is he going to have more or less than 15 points, more or less than 10 rebounds? Pick your favorite players and compete for huge, and I mean huge, cash prizes. Download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app now and get started with code WISN. New customers can get up to $200 back in Pick 6 credits if your first pick set loses. Only on Pick 6 from DraftKings with code WISN. The crown is yours. One offer per new customer. First qualifying pick set winnings less entry fees must generate negative number. Max reward up to $200 equal to amount of negative number. more. Issued in non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits valid for Pick 6 use only, expire after 180 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus in most eligible states. Age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Pick 6 not available in all states. For up-to-date list of states, visit dkng.co/pick6states. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, host of the Designer Yard Show and owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. Do you love your landscaping? Do you appreciate the perfect blend of plants, stone, and wood that embraces your home? Do you delight in sitting on your patio with a cool drink, taking in the beauty of your backyard? If you answer yes, then we have a lot in common. Now, one more question. Does all of this beauty disappear when the sun goes down? Since 1994, the experts at Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services have been creating beautiful landscaping that can and should be enjoyed even after dark. If the beauty and pleasure of your landscaping disappears when the sun goes down, you should consider a fully automatic landscape lighting system. The experts at Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services are gifted at creating deliciously soft, subtle nighttime scenes. To schedule a meeting with one of our lighting designers, please call 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
Save big on the tools you need now through May 4th during Nye's Tool Day sale. $100 savings on the DeWalt 60-volt max 12-inch sliding compound miter saw, plus a freestand and 9-amp starter kit. Save 10% on all Makita tools. Get a Bosch 10-inch table saw or 12-inch glide miter saw for only $499.99. Vendors will be on site. See the schedule at neushardware.com. Nice, great hardware, big on tools. Highways 4145 and Q in Menominee Falls, now through May 4th.
The housing market stays hot and prices stay high, with low inventory continuing to be the main culprit. Bob Tarantino from Redefined Realty, and that's great news for sellers. High interest rates don't seem to be slowing down the buyers, but high real estate commissions are a real stick in the eye to sellers. Interview a 3.99% Redefined Realty agent before signing a contract for 5 or even 6%. Commissions are negotiable, but you have to know where to start. Visit redefinedrealty.com for your free market analysis.
Conservative thought, not just talk. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, a tour de force of truth. She just won re-election to her seat on the Milwaukee County Board. What is Deanna Alexander doing next? She joins us live on the Dan O'Donnell Show for an exclusive announcement. Deanna, welcome to the program. Always great to have you here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. And thanks to all the voters for putting their faith in me again to reelect me for a 5th term on the Milwaukee County Board. I am excited to join you to announce that I am declaring candidacy for the Wisconsin State Assembly, District 12.
Really? Now, this is the district that is currently represented by Democrat Waukesha Myers, who has announced that she's not seeking re-election. So, by my math, you are the first candidate on either side to announce their candidacy?
That's correct. As far as a public announcement, I know that there is another candidate that has filed some papers with the state that is the same individual that I just ran against in the county board race and won that race. Dr. Waukesha Myers is not running for re-election. She's been very decent to work with and is a friend of mine, and it's an open seat, and I've spoken with her about running for this seat, and I'm ready to step up and serve the state in this way.
Now, this seat hasn't been represented by a Republican in 41 years. How do you plan to turn that around?
Well, actually, I plan to run this race as an independent. I have some conservative values. I also understand the constituency that I represent. And this district for the State Assembly District is a direct overlap with my existing county board district. So I have known the voters in this area in this way for about 12 years. My voters are generally middle class, blue collar, often public servants, retirees. They are desperately trying to make ends meet, and so they care very much about government working well and working sensibly. And they also have compassion for others and a love for Milwaukee and the Milwaukee area where they live. And that has resonated. We have been successful so far, and I am going to ask voters who are shaking their heads kind of at the political system to take a look at doing this another way and allow me to represent them as an independent, looks at things on an issue-by-issue, case-by-case basis, and takes all the facts into the account.
So just to be clear, you're not running as a Republican?
I will be running as an independent in this race, yes.
Are you concerned that that might get a Republican to get in the race and essentially split the conservative vote?
Well, if a Republican sought to get in this race, I would immediately seek to meet with them and talk about what that looks like, just like I have already met with the prospective Democrat opponents. The last time a Republican ran this race in a presidential year, they out-fundraised and outspent the Democrat opponent, but they only got 20% of the vote. I intend to far outdo that vote percentage on November 5th, and we are looking to win this and have a Republican voice join the state, an independent voice join the state assembly. It does not have to be someone who says, you know, I am a Republican or I am a Democrat. We can have independent voices, and that's part of our political system.
And that's actually where I was going with this, that this appears to be an overwhelmingly Democratic district. I mean, it's been uniformly Democrat since 1983. The last Republican who ran didn't do a great job of turning things around, so to speak. With President Trump and Joe Biden again on the ballot, why do you think that you're uniquely positioned to get more than 20% of the vote, more than 50% of the vote?
Well, first, I have run 5 campaigns overlapping 90% of this district already and have been successful in all of them and have never lost a political race that I ran myself or directly managed. Second, I think if you look at the voter turnout, my day job, I work as a municipal clerk, and I've worked in different levels of government. I've paid attention to these results for voter turnout. If you compare this spring April election to the last April presidential year election, and even the one before that, voter turnout was down by about 40%. And in this district, it was directly 40%. So I think that that's not because we had rain or because everybody was busy or because people didn't care. I think it's because a lot of people are frustrated with some of their choices. And so I'm not hearing, yes, we have a lot of people that are good people dedicated to their party or their party principles that are voting for their presidential candidate this fall. But I think a lot of people out there are really independently minded, and they're frustrated with some of the choices. I am not running for president, but I sure am running as an independent to help represent the Milwaukee area, and it's a little bit of Brown Deer and Wauwatosa as well at the state level. And I want to listen to the constituents and continue to do what I've done on the county board, and that's listen to them, do a good job, and always be open to new information to make the best decisions possible.
She is Deanna Alexander, Milwaukee County Board Supervisor, announcing exclusively today on the Dan O'Donnell Show that she is running for the State Assembly in the 12th Assembly District. That's currently represented by Representative Waukesha Myers, who is not seeking re-election. There is a Democrat who I don't believe is publicly announced, but he has filed papers to run. And this is the candidate that you defeated, as you mentioned, Deanna, Brandon Williford. Do you think the same dynamics are going to sort of be in that race?
I think it'll be a little bit different. You obviously will have some party forces going on. I'll be in a very unique position that I won't be able to accept any party level contributions or the big checks that parties traditionally send candidates because I'm running as an independent. So I will have to heavily work at talking to individual donors, and that may put me at a little bit of a steep hill to climb, but I know it's possible. And I think I have a lot to offer. I know this opponent. I just ran against him, and so we've done the candidate forums and debates and that sort of thing together already. A couple of the unique things that I bring to the table, I work as a municipal clerk out in the town of Brookfield as my day job, and so I have also been a village administrator. I've worked in the municipal level, the county level, and the state level of government when I helped manage the state foster care system in Milwaukee County. When I was a kid, my dad was in prison, and I got to see the family's perspective of the inside of the prison system. And as far as my 4 daughters, I have been an auditor for choice schools in my work in the past. I have had children attend choice schools, and this fall I have children that are both in Milwaukee Public Schools as well as Lake Country Classical Academy, a charter school in Oconomowoc. And so I have seen all facets of our school system. I would love to help on some of these issues with the perspectives that I bring to the table.
She is Deanna Alexander, running for the Wisconsin Assembly. Is there a place people can find out more of more about your candidacy online?
Absolutely. It's just my name, DeannaAlexander.com.
DeannaAlexander.com. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it, Deanna. Best of luck to you in your run for the State Assembly. I am Dan O'Donnell. We'll be right back in just a second.
The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
Robert Hack Diamonds pays cash for your unwanted gold, silver, and even diamonds. That's right, Robert Hack Diamonds wants to make you an offer on your gold, silver, and diamonds. With gold at all-time highs, this is the time to sell. The process is very simple. No appointment needed. Just come on in, sit down in a nice, relaxed atmosphere, and the staff at Robert Hack Diamonds will evaluate your unwanted gold, silver, and diamonds and make you an offer on the spot. Then, you can decide if you want a deal or no deal. Gold is at an all-time high, so why not see what it's worth? Now is the perfect time to sell your gold. And Robert Hack Diamonds can also convert your old jewelry into something new with our goldsmiths. Or trade in your outdated pieces for something new and exciting. Again, Robert Hack Diamonds pays cash for your unwanted gold, silver, and diamonds. Yes, we also buy coins, flatware, silver, platinum, the list goes on. If in doubt, come on in. Robert Hack Diamonds. See them in Brookfield, just east of Moreland on Greenfield Avenue, or 76th and Layton, right on the corner in Greenfield, or always online at roberthackdiamonds.com.
This is Mike and Jim from Brillo Home Improvements.
Past work is definitely an indicator of future results. Don't you think, Mike?
Well, of course. And that's why we proudly display a whole lot of our past work at BrilloHomeImprovements.com.
We figure, hey, you get to know us with these little conversations we keep having with you. And then, when you're ready, you go to our website, you see the beautiful and well-photographed images of a whole bunch of our work.
And that'll give us a good shot, at the very least, of you giving us a call to talk about what we can do to make your project the next one we post.
It'll be another winner.
Darn tootin'.
For NARI award-winning home remodeling.
And about as down-to-earth of an approach as you're going to find.
Call Brillo.
Because past work is an indicator of the future results we intend to show you after you've let us take on your next new home remodeling project.
Transforming your dreams into reality. Brillo, Brillo, Brillo.
I'm the benefit company's Kurt Otto. iNet Marketing is more than a marketing agency or web developer. Over decades, iNet has become a business mentor, helping businesses see pathways to increase profitability.
Advice we often give is do what makes your business money better than anyone and insource iNet to implement Grave Genius, making sure people know and choose your business. Similarly, insourcing the benefit companies for business administration is smart business.
We started seeing results as soon as our iNet website was published, and even more when we went live on the radio. This January, first implementation of new business was more than in many years. iNet marketing really worked.
Keeping businesses regulation compliant and helping implement strategic efficiencies, the benefit companies enhances business profitability.
Our brand, Steve Created InSource, is genius. iNet branding, logo design, our radio advertising accurately present our value and work.
InSource, the benefit companies, connectandsimplify.com.
We highly recommend iNet Creative Genius Marketing.com.
iNetDishWeb.com.
How long have you been living with that joint pain? You're calling it an old sports injury or just old age, but you just don't have to live with it. Jay Weber here saying it took me too long to figure that out. If you're someone who's experiencing spine or musculoskeletal pain or shoulder, hip, or knee pain, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. They're the doctors and techs that I trust with my shoulder problems. I've had issues for years, and there's not enough damage to warrant surgery, so Ortho Wisconsin helps me manage the pain. Their clinicians, physicians, and surgeons are committed to providing the highest quality joint care and handle everything from simple strains and tears to sports injuries to managing degenerative diseases to complex joint replacements. In fact, Orthopedic Associates specializes in same-day total joint replacements at their ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee, and lesser treatments like physical therapy can be done at the Pewaukee, Brookfield, and New Berlin locations. Based on my experiences, you will be impressed with Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin and their staff. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
All right, Father's Day, graduation season right around the corner. And if you're looking for a really great, unique gift, you got to check out the personalized receiver covers from my friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Now, they're available for Henry's Golden Boy and Golden Boy Silver rifles, which come in 3 calibers, 22 LR, 22 Magnum, and 17 HMR. Just go to henryusa.com and type in personalized in your search box. Well, there you're going to find a link to the product page with step-by-step instructions. They can engrave any message that you want, up to 20 words, and the process is easy, it's simple, it's affordable, and it doesn't require a gunsmith. Check out Henry's personalized receiver covers if you're looking for a great gift for dads or grads. Make sure you get their free catalog. They mail it with free decals and a list of dealers where you live. That's henryusa.com. You get the free catalog, free decals. They have 200 rifles, shotguns, revolvers to choose from, and you're going to love this company. I know I do.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at accunet.com.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Talk radio show in Wisconsin, officially endorsed by former President Donald Trump.
Your show is a very important show, and it's a great show, and we appreciate it.
Former President Trump will be in Waukesha next Wednesday, the one day he's allowed to campaign during the week, it seems. The other days he's got to be at trial. He's not allowed off Fridays, which, you know, most of the time in New York, there is no trial on Friday, but this case, of course, is different. Now, at the Supreme Court, do you want, oh, by the way, tickets are apparently available. I am not seeing where you can get tickets through the Republican Party of Wisconsin. I have not seen tickets yet. But if somebody would like to contact me where you can get tickets to the Trump rally, that would be fantastic. They are going to be free. It's going to be at the Waukesha Expo Center at, I believe, 2 p.m. He is set to speak. I am going to contact the Trump team, see if he wants to come on the air at some point before that. Obviously, he'll be busy with trial each day. So we'll see how exactly that works. He can't do media appearances. Why would he be allowed to do media appearances? I can tell you what is going to be the big story tonight. Already, you can always tell. You can always tell what the Democrat talking point is or will be, because it appears on the Drudge Report. Remember when Drudge was a conservative, or Drudge was running the Drudge Report, and Democrats always say, well, Republicans just take their marching orders from Matt Drudge. Now the dominant leftist narrative. I am telling you, if you are looking for it, if you want to know what liberals are talking about, what liberals are thinking about, go to the Drudge Report. The top story will invariably be whatever it is that you're going to hear about on all the cable news shows tonight. Big, bold Drudge headline. Supreme Court shock. Trump claims assassination privilege. Kill a rival, kill an enemy. kill Hillary? What if the quote-unquote king orders a coup? Okay. Can we unpack this with a little bit of sanity? This was questioning from Justice Sonia Sotomayor to Trump's attorney John Stour. And they have argued that there is full presidential immunity, that something, okay, and this actually centers on the example that I gave on this show about an hour or so ago. President Obama ordered a drone strike that killed the leader of ISIS. He was an American citizen. Could President Obama be criminally prosecuted for that? Let's say it took place in Baltimore and not in the Middle East. Could a local prosecutor or could federal prosecutors charge Barack Obama with first-degree intentional homicide in that example? This is exactly what the argument sort of was. I'm going to give you a chance to say it, Sotomayor asks. To stay by it, if the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or someone to assassinate him, is that within his official acts that for which he can get immunity? Sauer, it would depend on the hypothetical. What we can see, that could well be an official act. Sotomayor, he could. And why? Because he's doing it for personal reasons. He's not doing it like President Obama is alleged to have done it to protect the country from a terrorist. He's doing it for personal gain. And isn't that the nature of the allegations here, that he's not doing these acts in furtherance of an official responsibility? He's doing it for personal gain. Sauer, I agree with that characterization of the incident. And that confirms immunity because the characterization is that there's a series of official acts that were done for an honorable purpose. So the discussion then turned from absolute to qualified immunity, because this would obviously be qualified immunity. No, the president clearly can't just assassinate somebody who he deems to be corrupt. If there is, however, an intelligence assessment that this person is plotting a terror attack on American soil, then yes, there would be absolute immunity if this was determined to be military action, even if it's within the United States, against someone who is classified as an enemy combatant. They all know what this is. They all know that this is absolute hair on fire screeching about something that is not going. So yes, he could kill Hillary Clinton. I'm now starting to see why liberals hated the Drudge Report for so many years. No, Trump clearly could not kill Hillary Clinton. Now, let's say Hillary Clinton was, let's say she was killing that guy who had information on her. Remember that conspiracy theory, Seth Rich? Remember that one? He was supposed to be the guy who hacked into the DNC. I've never actually seen any evidence of this. He was killed while on a jog, and he was supposedly on his way to out the entire DNC. Frankly, folks, I've never seen any evidence of it. Let's say Hillary Clinton didn't go through a middleman and she just garroted this guy mafia style by herself. Could Trump, let's say the military was called in. These are hypotheticals. And this is what, yes, I mean, this is what happens in oral arguments. The justices will try to take your argument to its logical conclusion, or what they believe its logical conclusion will be, and you're forced to defend it against. Nobody is saying Donald Trump could use the military to just start executing Democrats, all right? Nobody has even come close to suggesting that. And if you believe that, you're about as dumb as apparently the Drudge Report, whoever it is that's running it. I still don't believe that Matt Drudge is still running the Drudge Report. I believe he's in an underground bunker somewhere and is, saving jars of his own urine. The man has gone absolutely nuts. But if you ever want to know, this is why I'm like the one conservative who still goes to the Drudge Report every day, because it's a reliable gauge of what it is the mainstream media's Democrat talking point is going to be. But this notion that, and we'll, on the afternoon show, I can promise we'll have the audio of this, and we'll knock down this idea that Trump's attorneys are claiming that he could just sort of assassinate whoever he wants, because this is all just in furtherance of this narrative that we can't elect Trump because he would be an affront to democracy. He would, I don't know, put his political opponents on trial. We're done for the Dan O'Donnell Show today. Back with the Belling Show this afternoon. Stay tuned, and I will talk to you then.